When the world's most famous rocket builder Elon Musk gets two emergency calls at midnight, his life changes forever. His Mars rocket is failing and might explode on the launch pad tomorrow morning, threatening thousands of jobs and his company's future. At the same time, his ex-wife is fighting for her life in the hospital after a terrible car accident, and his three children need him desperately. For the first time, Elon must make an impossible choice between saving his dream company and being there for his family. Everyone thought they knew what the workaholic billionaire would choose, but his decision shocked everyone, including himself. What happens next will change not just one family, but possibly the future of humanity. Elon Musk rubbed his tired eyes and glanced at the digital clock on his desk. 11:48 p.m., the SpaceX office was empty. Except for him, everyone else had gone home hours ago. Just a few more calculations, Elon mumbled to himself, taking another sip of his cold coffee. The plans for the Mars mission were spread out in front of him. This rocket would change everything. It had to be perfect. The blue glow from his computer screen lit up his face. In the dark office outside the window, he could see the massive rocket hangar where tomorrow's launch would happen. His dream was so close he could almost touch it. Elon's phone buzzed on the desk. He almost didn't answer it. Probably another reporter wanting a comment about tomorrow's launch, but something made him pick it up. "Hello," he said, still looking at the rocket plans. "Dad?" The voice on the other end was shaky and small. Elon sat up straight. "Kai? What's wrong?" It's almost midnight. His 15-year-old son rarely called him, especially not this late. Something was wrong. "It's Mom," Kai said, his voice breaking. "She's been in an accident. We're at Memorial Hospital. The doctors say," Kai's voice cracked, "they say she might not make it through the night." Elon's heart stopped. Tara. Despite their divorce, 3 years ago, she was still the mother of his children, still someone he cared about. "What happened?" Elon asked, already standing up, grabbing his jacket from the back of his chair. "A truck hit her car on the highway. She's in surgery. Now they're trying to stop the bleeding." But Kai couldn't finish the sentence. "Where are Zia and Leo?" Elon asked, thinking of his younger children. "They're at Grandma's house. I didn't want them to see Mom like this." "I'm here alone, Dad." The thought of his teenage son sitting alone in a hospital waiting room made Elon's chest tighten. "I'm coming right now, Kai. Hold on." Just as Elon was about to hang up, the door to his office burst open. His assistant, Javier, stood there, face pale, tie loosened, and eyes wide with panic. "Mr. Musk, emergency?" Javier was breathing hard, like he had run up all 10 flights of stairs. "The main engine cooling system on the Mars rocket is failing." Marcus just called from the launch pad. Elon froze, the phone still pressed to his ear. "What kind of failure?" "The new cooling system we installed yesterday is overheating. If we don't fix it before the pre-launch sequence starts at 6 a.m., the whole thing could explode on the launch pad." Dad Kai's voice came through the phone. "Are you still there?" Elon felt like someone had just dropped a heavy weight on his shoulders. "I'm here, Kai. He looked at Javier, who was holding up a tablet, showing real-time data from the rocket. The numbers were flashing red. "Not good. Tell Marcus to shut down the system and go to backup cooling," Elon told Javier. "That's the problem, sir. The backup system is connected to the same circuit. If the main one fails, the backup will too. Marcus says only you understand the new design well enough to fix it." Elon closed his eyes. If the rocket exploded, it wouldn't just be a failed mission. 3 astronauts would die. SpaceX might never recover from the disaster. Thousands of employees would lose their jobs. The dream of Mars would be set back by years, maybe decades. "Mr. Musk, the board is already calling. They're threatening to pull funding if this launch fails." Javier added, his voice urgent. "Dad, the doctor wants to talk to you." Kai said through the phone. Something about Mom's medical history that only you know. Elon felt torn in half. His company needed him. His family needed him. Both were hanging by a thread. Tell the doctor I'll call right back. Elon told Kai, 5 minutes, I promise. He hung up and turned to Javier. Show me the cooling system data Javier handed him. The tablet, Elon scanned the numbers. His brilliant mind already working on solutions. This was a complex problem, but he had built this system. If anyone could fix it, he could. The problem is in the connection between the primary coolant pump and the secondary loop. Elon said, pointing to a diagram on the screen, the pressure is too high because the new alloy we used is expanding more than our models predicted. Javier nodded, typing notes furiously. Can we fix it? Remotely, possibly, Elon said, but someone needs to manually override the safety protocols and reprogram the cooling sequence that has to be done at the launch site. His phone rang again. Memorial Hospital flashed on the screen. Elon stared at the phone, then at the rocket diagram. His mind racing, Tara might be dying. His children needed him, but so did his company, his employees, his mission. The phone kept ringing. Javier looked at him expectantly, waiting for instructions. Sir, what should we tell the launch team? Javier asked before. Elon could answer. His phone buzzed with a text message from Kai. Dad, please hurry. Mom's condition is getting worse. Another call came in, this one from the head of SpaceX's board of directors. Elon's hand hovered over his phone. In this moment, he had to choose his family or his company, the people who loved him or the mission that defined him, the present or the future. His rocket to Mars was supposed to launch tomorrow, the culmination of decades of work and billions of dollars. If it failed, everything he had built might crumble. But at the hospital, his son was waiting alone. His ex-wife was fighting for her life. Some things couldn't wait until tomorrow. In the quiet of his office, with the model rockets on his shelf, watching silently, Elon Musk faced the most difficult decision of his life. The choice he would make in the next few minutes would shock everyone who thought they knew him. The clock ticked past midnight. It was time to decide. As Elon stood frozen between his ringing phone and the critical rocket data, memories flooded his mind. How had he gotten here? How had his life become? This impossible choice, he remembered the early days, back when it all began. 20 years ago, Elon sat hunched over a cheap desk in a tiny apartment. Empty pizza boxes and coffee cups surrounded him. A much younger Tara walked in, her long brown hair tied back in a ponytail. Still working? She asked, placing a fresh cup of coffee beside him. It's 3 a.m., just a few more hours, Elon promised, not looking up from his computer. This code could change everything. Tara sighed but smiled. That's what you said yesterday and the day before. This time I mean it, Elon said, finally looking up. His eyes were bright with excitement, despite the dark circles under them. If this works, it could be the start of something huge. Tara sat beside him and looked at the screen. I believe in you, she said, squeezing his hand. In those early days, Tara had been his biggest supporter. She understood his vision when nobody else did. She believed in him when even he had doubts. The memory shifted to their first tiny house. Years later, Elon was pacing in the living room, talking rapidly on his phone about rocket designs, while Tara tried to get his attention. Elon, she whispered, tapping his shoulder. Elon! Kai took his first steps. Elon held up one finger, still talking. No, the thrust has to be at least 20% more efficient, or we'll never break orbit. By the time he hung up, Kai was sleeping. Elon had missed the moment. More memories flashed through his mind. Kai's 5th birthday party, where Elon showed up an AWD hour late with a model rocket as a gift. The little boy's face lit up when his dad finally appeared. Daddy, look what I built, Kai had said proudly. showing off a tower of blocks. "That's great," Buddy Elon had replied, his mind still half on the meeting he'd just left. "But look at this rocket someday. I'll build a real one just like it, and we'll go to Mars together." Then came Zia's birth. Elon had been in the hospital that time, but he'd brought his laptop while Tara slept with their newborn daughter. He sent emails about solar panel efficiency. The memories continued. Zia, at age 6, sitting at a tiny piano, looking out at the empty chair where her father was supposed to be. He'd promised to come to her first recital, but had been called away for an emergency investor meeting when Leo was born. Elon had been in China opening a new factory. He'd seen his youngest son for the first time over a video call. The baby's tiny face pixelated on his phone screen. "He has your eyes," Tara had said, exhaustion and sadness in her voice. "I'll be home soon," Elon had promised, but soon had turned into weeks as his companies grew more successful. The distance between him and his family grew to more missed dinners, more birthdays, celebrated over rushed video calls, more promises to make it up. Next time, Elon remembered the day Tara finally had enough. He'd come home at midnight to find her sitting in the dark living room, suitcases by the door. "The children need a father who's actually present," she'd said, her voice calm, but her eyes full of tears. "Not just someone who sends expensive gifts and shows up for an hour on Christmas. Everything I'm doing is for them." Elon had argued, "I'm building a better future. Mars could be the saving of humanity. They don't need a savior of humanity." Tara had replied, "They need a dad who asks about their day and tucks them in at night." The divorce had been quick but painful. Tara took the children. Elon kept his companies. They both thought they got what mattered most. In the years that followed, Elon threw himself even deeper into his work. Every breakthrough, every successful launch, every billion added to his net worth. He told himself it was all for his children's future. Someday, they would understand. Someday, he would make it right. He made promises to himself when SpaceX achieved regular orbital flights. He'd spend more time with Kai when Tesla became the world's most valuable car company. He'd attend Zeus' piano recital when the first Mars mission succeeded. He'd be there for Leo's first day of school. But those milestones came and went. There was always another goal, another crisis, another reason to stay at the office just a little longer now. Standing in his office, with 2 emergencies demanding his attention, Elon faced the truth. He'd been making the same choice for 20 years. Work over family, the future over the present, each time telling himself it was temporary, that someday he would balance the scales, but there was no someday. There was only now his son, waiting alone in a hospital, his ex-wife fighting for her life, his company on the brink of disaster. Elon looked at the photo on his desk, a rare moment when all 3 children had visited the SpaceX factory last year. Kai standing tall and serious, already looking like a younger version of his father Zaya, with her mother's smile but Elon's determined eyes. Little Leo clinging to his sister's hand, looking shyly at the camera. They deserved better from him. They always had. The phone rang again. Memorial Hospital. Elon took a deep breath and made his decision. "Javier," he said, turning to his assistant, "get the helicopter ready." Javier nodded quickly and reached for his phone. But before he could make the call, the office door burst open again. This time it was Preeka, the lead engineer for the rocket's navigation system. Her normally neat black hair was escaping from its bun, and her SpaceX badge hung crookedly from her lab coat. "Mr. Musk, we have more problems," she gasped out of breath. "The cooling system failure has affected the guidance computers. Marcus says we're looking at a complete system meltdown within the hour." Elon's stomach dropped. A complete meltdown? That would mean we'd lose all the pre-flight programming price. Finished 6 months of work gone, and there's more. The astronauts just arrived at the facility for their final briefing. Elon looked at his phone, still showing the hospital's a number. then back at Preeka's worried face. "Show me everything," he said, moving to the large screen on the wall. "Pull up the system diagnostics." Price tapped rapidly on her tablet, and the wall screen lit up with streams of data and warning messages. Red alerts flashed across diagrams of the rocket's internal systems. "The cooling failure started here," Preeka said, pointing to a section of the engine assembly. "But now it's cascading through these connected systems. The heat is affecting the main computer hub." "Where's Marcus now?" Elon asked, studying the diagrams at the launch pad with the emergency team. "They're trying to manually override the system, but they need the access codes that only you have." Elon ran a hand through his hair. The access codes were a security measure he had put in place himself. Only he could authorize emergency changes to the rocket's core systems. His phone buzzed again with a text from Kai. "Dad, where are you? The doctor needs to talk to you." Now Javier, who had been on his own phone, approached with a grim expression. "Sir, the board chairman is on the line. He says he needs to speak with you immediately." "Put him on?" "Speaker," Elon said, still analyzing the data on the screen. "Musk. What the hell is happening over there?" The chairman's voice filled the room. "I'm getting reports of a critical failure. Tell me you're not about to blow up a 4 billion rocket." "We're handling it," Richard Elon replied calmly, though he felt anything but calm. "Handling it isn't good enough. Do you realize what's at stake here? This isn't just about one rocket. The Artemis contract is watching this launch. NASA will give those Mars missions to our competitors. If we fail—" "I understand the stakes," Elon said. "Do you? Because I've got calls from every major investor. They're panicking. If this launch fails, our stock will plummet. You could lose control of your own company," as if to emphasize the point. Elon's computer chimed with new email alerts. The financial team was sending urgent reports of investors threatening to pull out if the launch failed. "I've been working on this problem for the past hour." Elon said, "We've identified the issue with the cooling system. And I don't want technical details." The chairman interrupted. "I want your personal guarantee that you will be there to oversee this fix and ensure a successful launch. You built this rocket. You're the only one who can save it. Now." Elon hesitated, thinking of Kai alone at the hospital. "Musk, are you there?" the chairman demanded. "I'm here," Elon said, "and I'll make sure the launch succeeds." "Good, the entire board will be watching. Don't let us down." The call ended abruptly. Elon turned to find both Javier and Preeka staring at him before he could speak. The office door opened again. This time it was Marcus himself, the launch director, his face streaked with grease and sweat. "You're supposed to be at the launch pad," Elon said, surprised. "I had to come in person," Marcus said gravely. "The situation is worse than we thought. If we don't fix the cooling system, in the next 3 hours we'll have to drain all the fuel and postpone the launch." "How long would a postponement be?" Elon asked. "At least 3 months, maybe 6. We'd have to rebuild half the cooling system. 6 months that would give their main competitor Blue Origin time to launch their own Mars mission. First SPX would lose everything they'd worked for. But that's not all," Marcus continued. "There are 3 astronauts they've trained for this mission for years. Their life support systems are calibrated for today's launch window. If we delay, he didn't need to finish." They all knew what a 6-month delay would mean: retraining, recalibrating, possibly even replacing crew members who couldn't extend their commitments. "The astronauts' families are already here too," Preeka added quietly. "They arrived early to watch the launch. There are children out there who got up at 4 a.m. to see their parents make history." Elon walked to the window. From his office, he could see the massive rocket standing on the launch pad, gleaming under powerful floodlights. Tiny figures of workers skewered around its base like ants, tending to a giant 3 people, would soon trust their lives to that machine. A machine Elon had designed that now had a potentially fatal flaw. His phone rang again. "Kai, Mr. Musk," Javier said softly. "The helicopter is standing by, but the launch team needs your decision on the cooling system override. They can't proceed without your authorization codes." Elon looked at the three anxious faces watching him. Javier, Preca, and Marcus each represented hundreds of other employees, depending on him, waiting for his leadership. "The astronauts are asking for you," Marcus added. "They want to speak to you before making their final decision about whether to proceed with the launch." Elon picked up his phone, looking at Kai's name on the screen. Then he looked back at his team. "Tell me exactly what needs to be done to fix the cooling system," he said. "And, I mean, exactly." While Elon and his team huddled around rocket diagrams at SpaceX headquarters across town at Memorial Hospital, 15-year-old Kai Musk sat alone in a cold plastic chair. His phone was clutched tightly in his hand, the battery warning flashing red. "Come on, Dad," he whispered, trying his father's number for the 12th time. Once again, it went straight to voicemail. The hospital waiting room was nearly empty. At this late hour, a janitor mopped the floor in slow circles. The TV on the wall played a muted news report about tomorrow's SpaceX launch. Kai glared at the ED screen, showing his father's company logo. A nurse with kind eyes approached him. "Any luck reaching your dad?" Kai shook his head. "He's busy. He's always busy." The nurse placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "The doctor needs to talk to someone in the family about your mom's medical history." "Is there anyone else we can call?" "My grandparents are with my little brother and sister. They're too old to drive at night. I'm all she has right now." Kai's voice cracked on the last words, as if sensing his pain. His phone buzzed for a moment. Hope flared in his chest, but it wasn't his father. It was his sister, Zaya. "Kai, what's happening? Is Mom okay?" Zaya's voice sounded very small and scared, not like her usual confident self. "The doctors are still working on her," Kai said, trying to sound calm for his 10-year-old sister. "She's in surgery." "Did you reach Dad?" Kai hesitated. "He knows he's coming." "Really?" The doubt in Zaya's voice was clear even through the phone. "Yes, really?" Kai said more firmly than he felt he promised. "He promises a lot of things," Zia replied. "Remember my piano recital last month? He promised then too." Kai didn't know what to say. His sister was right. Their father's promises weren't worth much these days. "How's Leo?" he asked, changing the subject, confused. "Scared. He keeps asking for Mom and Dad." "Mostly." "Mom?" Zia sighed. "Grandma told him Mom is just at the doctor's for a checkup. That's probably best." Kai agreed. He's too little to understand. "Is she going to die?" Zia asked suddenly, her voice trembling. Kai swallowed hard. "No, she's going to be fine. The doctors here are really good." He tried to sound convinced, but the truth was the doctors had looked very worried. One of them had used the phrase "critical condition" when they thought Kai couldn't hear. "I should be there." Zia said, "No, you need to stay with Leo. He needs you." Just then, a doctor in blue scrubs approached. "Kai, are you Tara Musk's son?" Kai nodded, his heart pounding. "Zaya, I have to go. The doctor's here." "Call me back," Zia pleaded, but Kai had already hung up. The doctor had deep lines around his eyes from too many long shifts. "We've stabilized your mother for now, but she's lost a lot of blood. We need to do more surgery immediately." "Okay," Kai said, "do whatever you need to." "It's not that simple. Your mother has a rare blood type, and our supplies are limited. We need to know if there's any history of bleeding disorders in your family before we proceed." I felt helpless. "I don't know. My dad would know. We really need to." "Speak with him," the doctor said. "Soon. I'm trying to reach him," Kai said, frustration building in his voice. "He's just really busy right now." The doctor's expression remained professional, but Kai could see the judgment in his eyes. What kind of father was too busy when his children's mother was fighting for her life? "I'll try him again," Kai promised, as the doctor walked away. Kai dialed his father once more this time. To his surprise, the call connected. "Kai, I can't talk right now." Elon's voice came through, sounding distant and distracted. "There's an emergency at the company." "There's an emergency here too," Kai shouted, no longer able to control his emotions. "Mom might die. The doctors need information only you have and you won't even pick up your phone. I'm trying to save your rocket. What about saving Mom? What about us?" There was silence on the other end. Then Elon's voice, softer now. "I'm working on a solution for both problems. This isn't one of your engineering challenges. Dad, this is our family. Mom needs a blood transfusion with a rare blood type. The doctor says they don't have enough. He needs to know if there's any history of bleeding problems in our family. More silence, then no bleeding disorders. That I know of. My blood type is AB negative. Your mother's is the same. That's why—" "Wait," Kai interrupted. "The doctor said Mom has a rare blood type. If you have it too." "Kai, I have to go. There's a critical situation here that only I can fix. There's a critical situation here too." Kai was shouting now, not caring who in the waiting room heard him. "Mom needs your blood type. You could save her. I'll call the doctor directly." Elon said, "I have to go now." The line went dead before Kai could respond. He stared at his phone in disbelief, tears of rage and disappointment filling his eyes across the waiting room. 7-year-old Leo's face smiled up at him from his phone's lock screen, a picture taken at his last birthday party, which their father had missed because of a rocket test in Texas. Meanwhile, the grandparents had arrived with Zia and Leo, Grandma Chen. Tara's mother rushed to Kai and hugged him tightly. "Any news?" she asked, her accent thicker than usual from stress. "She's stable but needs more surgery," Kai reported. "They need information from Dad. And where is he?" Grandpa Chen demanded, his weathered face tight with anger, before Kai could answer. Little Leo tugged at his hand. "Where's Mommy? I want to see Mommy." Leo looked so small in his dinosaur pajamas, clutching the stuffed dragon their father had sent from Japan. Last Christmas, his eyes were wide with confusion and fear. Kai knelt down to his brother's level. "Mom is resting right now. Buddy, the doctors are taking good care of her." "When is she coming home?" Leo asked Kai, exchanged a glance with Zia, who looked away, blinking back tears. "Soon," Kai promised, hoping it wasn't a lie. "Very soon." "Is Daddy coming?" Leo asked hopefully. "He can make the doctors fix Mommy." "Daddy fixes everything." The innocent faith in his brother's voice made Kai's chest hurt. Leo still believed in their father's promises. Still thought Elon Musk could solve any problem, fix any broken thing. "Daddy's working," Zia said, her voice bitter beyond her years, as usual. "But he said he'd come." Kai insisted, not sure if he was trying to convince his siblings or himself. "He promised." Zia rolled her eyes. "When will you stop believing his promises? He always chooses his work over us." Always. Before Kai could respond, his phone rang again. His heart leapt. Maybe his father was calling back with better news, but it was just the doctor again, wondering if he'd reached his father. Kai looked at his worried grandparents, his angry sister, and his confused little brother. They were all depending on him. "Now I'll try him one more time," Kai said, stepping away from his family. This time, he didn't just call. He left a message that came straight from his heart. "Dad, please, Mom needs you. We need you if you don't come. Now I don't think any of us will ever forgive you. Is your company really worth losing your family forever?" He hung up, hoping those words would finally get through to his father. The hospital clock showed 1:30 a.m. Time was running out for all of them. Back at SpaceX headquarters, Elon stood frozen. Kai's message playing over and over in his mind. Is your company really worth losing your family forever? The question hit him like a physical blow around him. His team was still talking, pointing at diagrams suggesting solutions for the rocket's cooling system, but their voices had become a distant hum. All he could hear was his son's desperate plea. Elon walked to the window away from the others outside. The massive rocket stood illuminated against the night sky, his dream, his vision for humanity's future.